Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure, it's always my honor to be greeting you and bringing this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. And that's why I want to speak to you concerning the characters of the Bible and where the characters of the Bible really lives. Are the characters in the Bible living in your mind, or are they living, or were they living in the Middle East or some geographical place around the world? Okay? So, before I go any further, I would like to let you know the basis of what I teach. Okay? I teach that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. That the Bible is not literal, neither is it secular history, and that it was written symbolically. Therefore, it has no reference to anyone who existed thousands of years ago or to any actual event that would have taken place on earth thousands of years ago. I truly believe that from the beginning to the ending of the Bible, it's all a great psychological drama, and it all have to do with the human psyche. Therefore, I would like to share with you how that everything is actually energy, vibration, and frequency, and that the characters in the Bible, they represent states of consciousness or states of mind, because they are infinite states, and anyone can fall into any state based on how they vibrate or on what frequency they vibrate on. So actually, a thought is a vibrational frequency. So just as you have a radio, it has frequency, television, the cell phone you use, the computer, all of these things, they work on frequency. And they all came from the mind of man. It was first a thought, it was first imagined. It was first an idea. So it means your brain is a transmitter and a receiver of frequency. So your personality have to do with your state of mind or your mindset. Now you have the rich man, you have the poor man, you have the beggar man, you have the thief. It's the same mind, but different arrangement of that same mind. So how you arrange your mind would mean the results you will get in your life. And that is why the Bible now is showing you these states of consciousness as characters, because you will bring forth a personality. So when you read the Bible, you realize that many people are taking personification for persons, and they're taking allegory for history. And even Galatians 4:24 tell you that the story of Abraham and of Sarah and of Hagar, it's all an allegory. So it means it's telling you it's not speaking of actual people who existed thousands of years ago, because it's not secular history. It's not literal. Now, because if it's literal, okay, you will realize that you cannot check the laws that governs the universe. And there's a law that everyone can see, which is the law of reproduction, whereby every seed and every species must reproduce after its own kind. So you cannot plant pumpkin and then go and reap watermelon. So that's a law, and that law represents truth. That truth cannot be proven wrong. So if there's a literal man who existed 2,000 years ago, and this literal man could turn water into wine, then you should be able to turn water into wine, literally speaking also. Or even walk on water, because that same life is inside of you. But if it is psychological, then I have to do it psychologically and get the results to prove. And then I'll say, you see, everything that is manifest in the physical, it was for psychological. So from the invisible comes the visible. And that is what it really means when they speak about faith. In Hebrews 11, when I say faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, it is teaching you to understand how to use faith. You have to understand faith. And faith is not just believing something blindly. It's having an understanding of how it works. So when you have the understanding of how it works and you understand that everything that you see that is visible, it came from the invisible, then you understand that you have to go and you have to jar from the invisible to make visible. So your real value, your real currency is you knowing who you are, knowing yourself, knowing how powerful you are, what you can do. But the fact is, are you going to believe in yourself? Are you going to believe in someone else? Okay? Because when you come to accept this truth, you would realize that all the characters of the Bible, right, they live in the mind of man, and that all things exist in the human imagination. For when the Bible speaks of God in man, it is speaking of man's imagination. For that is God himself and there is no other God. That's why everything in this world, it was false imagined. It was false a thought. It was false an idea. It didn't pop up just like that. And that is the pattern. So until you can accept that the only one that you need to change is yourself, you will understand what it means when it says in Romans chapter 12 that you must not be conformed to the world, but you must be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You know what I say to you? The only way you can renew yourself, or you can have any true transformation in your life, is by renewing your mind. It's not to deal with the thinking. Because your action is a reflection of your thinking. Because a word is a thought expressed. So everything is an expression of thoughts. So thoughts become things. And we become what we think about most of the time. So all along, the Bible is telling you a secret of yourself. But you keep thinking everyone else is the problem except you. So you blame a devil. And you believe the devil to be an outside entity outside of yourself. But the disciples, they tell you there were 12 disciples, okay? And who's a disciple? A disciple is a follower. Who's going to follow you wherever you go? It's your thoughts. So those 12 disciples represent 12 states of consciousness, 12 states of mind. That's what it represents. And you are the 13th one. And you are the 13th one. You have to operate those disciples. Because you have your angels. And what is an angel? An angel is a messenger. And what brings message to you and from you? It is your own thoughts that bring message to you and from you. How else would you know if there was actually a literal angel? How else would you know? You have to be conscious. So consciousness is actually the only reality there is. Therefore, you can never erase your knowledge of being. It can't be erased. So, we dwell in here in this three-dimensional world. We are having this human experience. But actually, we are spirit having a human experience. And we were expressed here by our parents, mother and father, for us having what? A thought. They didn't just have sex like that. It was for us a thought. So we are thought evolved beings. That's why we must be in control of our minds. So to understand the Bible and to use the Bible to overcome in your life, you have to understand how to take care of your mind, which is the Garden of Eden, how to till it, and what to plant in the garden. Because you could reap a Cain or Abel. That we're showing you. But still it's a polarity, it's a contrast. So when you understand all of that, you'll understand that it's God that is playing all the parts. And that's why he says that I am God and there's no other. He said, I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. And that is in the Bible, in Deuteronomy 32:39. And then in Isaiah chapter 45, verses 5 to 7. He says also that I am God and there's no other. He said, I create the darkness and I create the light. If you believe that God created the light, you have to believe that God created the darkness also, because it's just the polar opposite of the same thing. Like you have a coin, it have a head and a tail, but it's just the same one coin. The rich man, the poor man, the beggar man, the thief is one mind, but just different arrangement of the same mind. So my brother and my sisters, all I'm just saying to you, stop taking personification for persons and allegory for history, and use your mind alone to think for yourself. There's no S-O-N in this world who could be the light of the world. And there's a church right next to me out here with a cross that says Jesus Christ is the light of the world, and they tell you Jesus born from a woman's vagina. A woman can't exist unless there first be the son. And a man can't exist unless there first be the son either. So no man create the sun. Without the sun, there is no life and there is no light. So the Bible is the sun book. So let me come to a close here. If you could take it and if you could believe it, and you have to connect your mind with the sun to come to your higher self, to know who you are, to know all the characters in the Bible, it's all about you. Because just God alone playing all the parts. This whole thing is just a great psychological jammer. Everything that is without is within. Okay? So, my brother and my sisters, if this is the very first time that you're listening to me and what I'm saying, it makes sense to you, that I'm saying that the Bible is not literal, neither is secular history, and that the Bible is a book of symbology, okay, and you can use it to achieve your every desire, okay. Once you believe that and you'd like to get more of this message, I'd like to say, if you haven't subscribed already, to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. But before I leave you, I want to remind you that this message I bring to you, that it is a single eye message of self-realization, which Matthew 6:22 says that if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. And truly, my brother and my sisters, had it been that my whole body was filled with light, when a single eye awakes within me after I wake from the dream of life, I wouldn't have been here bringing this message to you, saying that when that thing takes place within your life and you understand the true birth, the birth from above, you will understand also the resurrection. And that experience would be a mighty shaking, a mighty earthquake. And you will hear that unearthly wind. And you will change like a fiery beam. And you will ascend and exit your skull and come out of your body. And realize that your body is the tomb. And when you come to that place, you will also realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N. And that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For truly the sun do parallel the human imagination. The human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there is no life and there is no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. And you're told in the Bible in Psalms 84:11 that the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And common sense will teach you that the sun has never withhold any good thing from you. For the sun is what powers all of humanity and gives all of humanity its energy. So anything you need, look to the sun, my brothers and my sisters. That is why also in Malachi chapter 4 and verses 2, you're told also that the sun, not the S-O-N, the S-U-N of righteousness shall arise where? In you, not outside of you, with healing in his wings. And when the sun has risen in me, I'm bringing healing to humanity, pointing each and every one to look inwardly and to use your mind power, which is your solar power, your sun power, your God power, your creative power, is actually the sexual power. Use that power to achieve your every desire and prove for yourself that every character in the Bible is your life, and you can bring forth all of the characteristics, especially those who have been healthy and wealthy and wise. Therefore, with all of that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.